From LALATE headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Afternoons LALATE.
It's a big Afternoons LALATE with incredible big news about your fourth stimulus check hitting minutes ago. Oh boy, there is a lot of breaking news about your fourth stimulus check update of 2021 today, minutes ago. The President of the United States makes a major deal to get the finish line in front of us for the fourth stimulus check. I'll go over what it is, and it comes no less than 2 days after two people, including myself, said there was a problem with what he has proposed for the fourth stimulus package. Now he's opened the door to get it to the finish line. Great news. The second great news is that the eviction moratorium order that said that the rule from the CDC was unlawful has now been put on hold because of a pending appeal. I'll explain the relief that you now have and the uncertainty going forward. And then big money. A lot of big money has been ordered to be sent back to you from certain states. What money are you getting and why are you getting this money? This is incredible, great news that no one saw coming. I have that and no less than 4 other major breaking news about your fourth stimulus check, your third stimulus check, and your fifth stimulus check in this major big recording starting right now on Afternoons LALATE. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. What a day it is. I thought yesterday was a big day with breaking news about your fourth stimulus check update. Today is sort of trumping that one because there's just update after update across the board, and I have it all for you in this recording. Wow, I'm really surprised by some of this news developing today across the board. Ironically myself. So if you've not subscribed, make sure you subscribe because you cannot miss a single minute of anything across the board. If you're new to this channel, welcome. This is LALATE, the most comprehensive financial news channel there is. The only financial news channel reporting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week with both live and tape recordings every single day. And I'm answering your questions even live on air. Also, like this video, 2,000-3,000 likes, and if you've not become a member, consider becoming a member. Later in this video, I'll explain to you what that is and how it gets you help. Also coming up later in this video is the big money under fifth stimulus package this fall. But first, let me turn to the incredible big news coming out of the White House minutes ago about your fourth stimulus check. I am really excited. The President of the United States minutes ago said that he would change his position on the pay for the fourth stimulus check. OMG. Let's do a little pear dance in the corner. The fourth stimulus package is paid by corporate tax rate changes. And if you've been with me over the last few days, and then I covered this a lot more about a month ago, that has caused a lot of problems. And 2 days ago, Richard Neal, who's head of the Ways and Means Committee, Democrat, came out and said, you can't be changing all these corporate tax codes to pay for these things. I'm not going to agree to it. Well, apparently that resonated because guess what also happened? About a month ago, the press secretary was really hammered in a series of interviews when asked, well, is the president going to make modifications on this corporate tax rate, which is currently 21%? He is proposing 28%, not a huge change. And she was very evasive, as usual. And that was, as Joe Manchin said, 21 is too low. It was lowered to 21 under the Trump administration. It's too low. But 28 is too high. I'll do 25. Well, guess what the president said today? I'll change my number. I will change my number. Oh, my goodness. We got a deal on the edge of it. This is incredible, great news. Let me tell you what he said. The president said in a press briefing today that when talking about the corporate tax rate, he will agree to between 25 and 28%. This is a major back off of his 28% firm rate before. He went on to say that the way I can pay for this is by making sense that the large companies don't pay zero and reducing the 2019 corporate tax rate to between 28 and 25%, 25 and 28%. That's a couple $100 billion, so we can pay for these things. This is incredible, great news. The Trump administration had reduced the corporate tax rate from 28 to 21%, and that had caused Joe Manchin and others to say 21 is actually too low where it is currently, but we're not going to do 28. What does this mean for your fourth stimulus check? It means that there's really nothing out there that we see anywhere in the horizon for any Democratic opposition. We got a deal. We got a deal. We're 2 months out from a potential signing this into law, and this is the best news you've seen for a while. This is as the president may be setting up his mindset that we are starting reconciliation. Let's go over these monthly stimulus checks because I'm really excited for you. This is really the type of news you wanted. I never thought that 28 was a deal breaker, but I always thought that if he came off of 28, we had a deal for purposes of the Democrats. And away we go. The House and senators have different approaches to how to send out these stimulus checks. Remember, this is a Democratic-only approach. There will be no Republicans involved because it's going by recon. So the House members want to pay a stimulus check for the remainder of the pandemic plus 1 year. That would be a lot of checks. So let's say there's 4 more months of this pandemic. Plus 12, that's 16 months of checks, 16 checks. The senators want to pay stimulus checks from July to December, so that's 6 months of checks. But before you say, I like the House plan better, and certainly jump in the live chat right now and say which one you do, let's look at the numbers, because the senators come in higher per month. The House members is $2,000 the first month, $1,000 thereafter. The senators, the amount of the monthly amount is unknown, but word on the street, it would be this. Word on the street, it would be $2,000 a month, which would be $12,000 in 6 months, or $1,400 a month, which would be $8,400 in 6 months. You see how the numbers pair out. For example, it's potential with the senators that you could see $12,000 in your hand after 6 months, but with the House members, you could potentially see $16,000 in your hand, but after 16 months. It's a big, big, big difference. So who gets these stimulus checks? That's easy breezy. Let me go over that right now. You do. If you got the third stimulus check, you do. So if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, Railroad benefits, you do. A household 4 or less, you do. Quadruple it if there's 4 people in the household. Single individual, $75,000 or less, you do. Married couple, $150,000 or less, you do. Just double the number of checks. Minor dependent, adult dependent, same amount as a stimulus check. Taken out for child support, we don't know just yet. And when and where? In July, for July. In August, for August, is a monthly stimulus check that would go to a vote in July and be out the door in July, says Leader Schumer and Nancy Pelosi. The totality of this recording is based upon their representations, not mine. So there we go. A monthly stimulus check starting in July and going all the way to at least December. It is not income. It is not taxable. And yes, it's the biggest payout you've ever seen in this History's channel. Great news. Incredible, great news. And we had started the week with Richard Neal saying, I don't like the pay for it. The pay for of it. I don't like the corporate tax rate debacle that's going on. I don't really like what's going on. And we had other Democrats that were saying the same. Remember, you got to get all the Democrats on board. I never thought it was a big issue. And Joe Manchin said over 2 months ago, let's do 25. What is this 28? That's too high. But 21, where we are now, is too low. Great news across the board. Really, really great, incredible, great news. And guess what? I got more big news. Breaking news in the last 12 hours is that the Department of Labor has ordered money to be returned to some of you. Wow. This is one of those stories that sort of came out of nowhere, came out of the plants behind me. I'm like, what is this? So let me tell you this incredible story. The Department of Labor determined that certain people are owed money back from their states. Let me explain who this is. If you were on unemployment anytime in 2020 or 2021, you may have received unemployment benefits, and then sometime along the equation, you got a letter from your state unemployment office that, oops, we made a mistake. We paid you a little too much money. Can you please return the money immediately? And you were worried and you returned the money. Well, Department of Labor said, That was their error. That was the state's error. That was not your error. And you're not at fault. They have ordered the states to return the money back to you. Wow. Now, we don't know when, how, and how much, but the current memos from Department of Labor suggest that if you got an overpayment that you returned, that is coming back to you. If it was not your fault and it was the Department of Labor's, it was the state unemployment office's default. If they said they made a mistake, returned money to and sent you too much extra money, you returned it back, you're getting that money sent right back to you, and it could be thousands and thousands of dollars. Very, very exciting news. Department of Labor says they have no guideline at the moment as to how quickly you're going to get it. But this is incredible. This is different than the $10,200, which is covered late in this recording. So, boy, it is one of those days of a lot of news. Also, a lot of news is the eviction moratorium ban ruled unlawful yesterday. That order has now been stayed, and that means that there is a relief currently underway. So let me explain this to you. And yes, this one is a little bit complicated, so I'm going to slow this one down. Under the Trump administration, the president then set up an executive order to create an eviction moratorium called the CDC eviction moratorium, the Center for Disease Control. Millions of Americans have used it. Then when Biden came into office, he extended it once, twice, and then all the way to September. There was a lot of rumblings about it in the last 2 months to say maybe it's unlawful. There were court challenges to him, and there were other victories. But yesterday, one particular court victory in the District of Columbia was so widely reported that many thought that this may be the final nail in the coffin, that this may be the final one to rule it invalid. Well, it came in, and the ruling yesterday said that the CDC eviction moratorium is unlawful and cannot go forward. Now, what's important to understand is that ruling is just in one jurisdiction. It's not in your jurisdiction. It's not an appellate decision. But we had great news today, as a stay has now been put in place for at least a week before the appellate court takes the matter up next week. So the stay is currently in place that now protects people going forward. What does that impact on you? Really, nearly impossible for me to predict. Here's what you need to know, is that ultimately any judge can do what they want to do. And that while that's one judge in one jurisdiction, your judge in another jurisdiction could do something else. I had one viewer, Scott, who said he walked into a courtroom with his CDC eviction moratorium recently before this ruling came down, and the judge threw it out the window, didn't even want to see it. So very, very fascinating across the board. Meantime, let's go back to those 4 stimulus checks. I just need a little break from all this. Those 4 stimulus checks is really the single biggest payout you've ever seen in the history of this channel. And it got a ironic push, at least in a strange way, this morning. The unemployment numbers came out this morning, and you saw them on Mornings LALATE, and boy, they were impressive. They were the lowest number of new jobless claims since the start of the pandemic, which fits permutation number 1, which basically says if the jobs are being restored, if the people are getting back to work, you want the stimulus to go out the door as quickly as possible because you don't want the economy rebounded before the stimulus is done. That was among the speed issues I identified nearly 2 months ago. I said speed issues work against you. That if there's economic rebounding before they get it to a vote, it could be a big issue. If there's jobs restored before that, there could be a big issue. Well, guess what tomorrow is? Tomorrow is the jobs number. And while these are the qualifications of who get the stimulus check, less than 75, household 4 or less, and SSI and SSDI, it's tomorrow's jobs number that really puts me at ease or anxious. Let me tell you why. 8 million jobs missing. July is 2 months away. You could do the math. Could those 8 million jobs be restored by July? No, of course not. But could the 8 million jobs be restored by, let's say, August or September? Well, tomorrow's jobs numbers will probably be the final result for this. Tomorrow's jobs numbers are expected to come in. Last month they were 900,000. Tomorrow they're supposed to be 1,000,000. 1,000,000 is a perfect number, folks. It's a perfect number, and it's a celebration number. Because if there's 1,000,000 jobs restored, that means it's going to be 8 months until the jobs, 1 into 8 is 8 months. It means it's going to be 8 months until jobs are restored. It means that by the time the bill gets to the floor for the vote in July, this economy ain't going to have the jobs restored, and the unemployment numbers will not have gone away. And we are perfectly fine and set up for forced stimulus to go out and voted upon in the month of July. It's literally perfect. It is the perfect time and the perfect horizon to get this done. Jobs are not restored by July. Unemployment claims have not gone to zero or pre-pandemic levels by July. Now we see today that there is a concession from the president on the corporate tax rate. I mean, this is just turning into a beautiful day. And it's not even Mother's Day yet. So there we go. I'll have more about the other money that's coming live this week and next week. Yeah, there's a lot of other money. And then I'll be cutting back to fifth stimulus as the helicopter comes in. Mitch's helicopter from 2020 is back. I haven't seen that helicopter for a while. Can you hear him? I'll be back in 60 seconds. First, here's a little bit about the community page. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now on Afternoons LALATE. How are you? It's a big day across the board, and I'm excited you have joined me. Boy, what a day it is. If you have not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Boy, it's just been one of those 24 hours where there's just so much breaking news. You cannot miss anything. And every video on this channel is different. Every video has new breaking news. And guess what? Breaking, developing announcement as well. I'm adding new shows to this channel. I'm adding new shows on different topics to make you money. So get ready for that. And I want you to subscribe so you don't miss any of this programming. We have live shows in the morning, tape shows in the afternoon, and a mixture across the day. So I don't want you to miss anything. So hit that subscribe button. Like this video, 2,000-3,000 likes. And if you've not become a member, consider becoming a member, because guess what? This week, the president's press secretary did not even know what's in the fifth stimulus package from him. And we, as viewers, sat back and read his document, which you have as a member. I delivered the PDFs to you. And we said, wait a second, it's in there. She doesn't even understand that. So with that, let's get to the other breaking developing news. Well, there's a lot of other things across the board that have developed and shocked Americans in the last 24 hours. First, the PPP grant has run out of money. It has run out of money. Second, the CDC has now warned that there may be a resurgence of the virus because of the variant B.1.1.7, which is the London variant, in the month of May. But then after that, we'll settle down in the month of June. Many are wondering the impact on this economy in the next 60 days, because LA, for example, is now today, for the very first time, going to the least restrictive zone ever for the pandemic since it hit last year. I mean, it's just incredible what the change in Los Angeles. California is completely open next month, and New York City started to is now reopening as well. So you're going to see major changes. How will that impact your stimulus? We will see. Meantime, other money is landing this week. Let's go over that money starting right now. There is money for upwards of $15,000 to $20,000 for nearly all viewers of this channel now hitting live, and I want you to get it, and I'm going to go over it right now. It is third stimulus money. Third stimulus has a lot of money, which I had told you back in January that as soon as it becomes law, you're going to get this money and it'll be the biggest payout you've ever seen. Well, it didn't come right away, and it's coming this week. Money for rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, and also homeowners assistance and homeowners mortgage money is landing in states this week and next week. So go get it. City Hall, City Housing Authority. County Hall, County Housing Authority. State Hall, State Housing Authority. Reach out to them and ask for that money because of COVID, because of the Biden stimulus. American Recovery Act. Great news. Then that money is about 4 to 6 months of rent, about $5,000. It's just incredible. And the utilities are a couple $1,000s. So we're looking at $6,000, $7,000 just to start on this video. Then there is money also available from the nonprofits, United Way, Salvation Army, Community Action, Catholic Charities, St. Vincent de Paul. They do rent and utilities differently. So if you don't like the state's eligibility criterion, go to the nonprofits. If the information in this video is going too fast, you can always toggle back the lower screen and replay it back to the spot in which you heard the announcement you wanted to see. Then SNAP. SNAP has been increased 15% over 1 year from January to December because of this and the prior president. And so now a family of four in Hawaii could see upwards of $16,000 in their hand. It's just incredible. So $16,000 a SNAP, $5,000 in rent. I mean, we're doing really well. And then there's utilities. We're doing really well. And then there's free internet. If you need help finding this and cannot find it on your own, first try yourself. But if you can't find it, then reach out to the volunteers detailed in the commercial break. They're at news.la.com/community. All right, so the other money going live is the money for the businesses, the Shutter Venue Grant and the Restaurant Grant now live. And then the real surprising details is two last big items coming. And you got to do both of these correctly. Now, I see comments, I see questions, and sometimes I see something, I'm like, what? Did I say that? I didn't say that. And now I realize what's going on. So there's a series of YouTubers who are simply delivering false video after false video every single day. And I guess that's sort of their business model. It's just, this was false and it works, so I'll do another false video tomorrow. So they have said you're getting $10,200 in the mail. Then they said you're getting a stimulus check in May and a stimulus check in June. And then they said you're getting automatically getting $3,600 for that child, starting in July, prorated. All that's wrong. So I need you to know what's right starting right now. Unemployment. You are getting certain monies if you do certain things. Let's go over what and how you do this. Number one, if you filed a 2020 tax return and paid taxes on your 2020 unemployment benefits to the federal government, you're getting those taxes paid for the unemployment benefits returned to you. You're not making a profit on it. You're just getting the money returned to you automatically from the federal government. So this is the following scenario. For example, you had $9,000 of unemployment benefits. You paid a total tax bill of $5,000, and your unemployment taxes, part of that $5,000 bill was $1,000. Then you're getting $1,000 back. Yes. Second, you haven't filed tax returns at all, and you did take out for federal taxes. What do you have? Do you automatically get a payment? Some YouTube channels are telling you yes. Absolutely no. You have to file a tax return. You have to file that 2020 tax return and request back that money you took out for federal taxes when receiving your benefits weekly. You request it on your 2020 return. Finally, the last group is the easy one. If you haven't filed your 2020 tax return and you did not take out for benefits for federal taxes, then just don't pay for federal taxes up to $10,200. Ultimately, I'm not a tax preparer. Reach out to a tax preparer for advice. That's easy breezy. Then, when considering the children's money of $3,600 to $3,000, is this automatic? Not necessarily so either. So what do you got to do with this one? There are two qualifications. One, you made less than $75,000, and second, IRS knows you have a child. So that has triggered three scenarios I've realized in which you absolutely categorically have to file a tax return. Scenario one, you never file tax returns and you have a child. They ain't gonna know you got a child. How are they gonna know? Mental telepathy? They ain't gonna know. So you need to file a tax return to say, hi, I have a child. That's the first scenario where you have to file it. Second scenario, you do file tax returns, but you haven't been listing that child as a dependent. Maybe he was just born. So you need to file that tax return and list the child as a dependent. The third one is the most unusual circumstance, but I know it's out there, which is you made a lot of money, a lot of moolah in 2019, and you tanked in 2020. And when you tanked in 2020, you came in eligible for this money, but you haven't filed that 2020 tax return. So the IRS is looking at the 2019 tax return. They're like, but you made a lot of money in 2019. We're not going to give this money to you because you're way over the threshold. You're not eligible. Well, you got to get that 2020 tax return on file that shows that you are eligible because you took a bath last year. That also is another reason. That tax return is due in just a couple days. Meantime, IRS said yesterday that if you're missing a first stimulus check, a second stimulus check, or a third stimulus check, file that tax return immediately. So if you're listening to this video and like, I got to fix 4 things, 3 things, 2 things, yeah, go to that tax preparer and tell them everything you got to fix, because that fixing is just a few days away from now. Remember, your personal tax return is the place that you fix it, and it's due in a few days from now. You cannot fix this in July. Remember in 2020 when Nancy Pelosi said, don't come back to me unless you have exactly the amount of money I want. Well, I almost said that to you. It says, don't come back to me in July asking me to fix your child's check when you didn't file that 2020 tax return in May. Because I'm telling you right now, this is when you it's due. It's a federal guideline. You got to file that tax return. But also, you don't file it, you're not going to get the money. Now, if you know, and to that, there have been sort of almost comical, but they're in a way sort of sad comments by some viewers, and I just hope they're just joking, that they're not really serious about this. So I had one viewer on social media, very nice, send me a tweet, and I'm like, "You're joking, right?" The viewer said, "Let's push Purple Power Treasury to reopen the non-fire filing tool so we can get the money for our kids, so we don't have to file a tax return." No, the deadline's like just a few days away. You got to file the tax return to get that money for the child. You are not going to say, hey, I had a tweet and that relieves me from filing the tax return. No, that is not the Purple Power. That is the purple evasiveness. That's another show. So thank you for the tweet, but that's not going to work. Let's go over to fifth stimulus. Fifth stimulus is really incredible, great news across the board. And that fifth stimulus, if I don't lock up on you, here we are. Fifth stimulus is coming in September. Fifth stimulus follows the same path of fourth stimulus. And like fourth stimulus, where there's an add-on to add the stimulus checks, a 2-step process with 2 bills that takes 2 months, May to July. Well, fifth stimulus is the same way. It's an add-on, this time with SSI and SSI reform. It's an add-on, and it takes 2 months and goes by recon. What does it provide? It increases the benefit limits, increases the benefit levels, adds an asset limits, adds an inflationary benchmark, removes the income exclusion, and then removes the marriage penalty. And yes, this is the SSI reform. Let me go over briefly what it is. And understand that fifth stimulus, which I've detailed a lot on the last few days, I don't want to always go over because it's a little, whatever. Fifth stimulus has a lot of money in there for single people. A lot of money in there for seniors. So if you're a member of this channel, you have the PDF of what's in there, and your items are sort of towards the bottom and the middle. But let's go over this part of the add-on, which is very, very important. So what is this? Who is this for? SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, Social SSA, and Social Security survivor benefits, railroad benefits, veterans. I think I said it all, or not 2-3 times already. And if you have multiple benefits, or if I said it 3 times, yeah, they're all raised up. They are all raised up to a new number. That will be your new number. Next, they're going to tie you to inflation. So if inflation goes up, your benefits go up. Every year, you'll be reassessed based upon the inflationary rate of the U.S. economy. Third, they're going to remove the asset cap, which is dating back to a 1984 law that says some of you cannot keep more than $3,000 on hand. That is going away. Next, they're going to remove the income cap. That is dating back to a 1960s law that says you cannot work and still stay on benefits. That is going to go away. And so that'll allow you to make $1,000, $2,000 a month approximately going forward, not retroactively. And that will allow you to still stay on benefits. Then finally, they're going to remove the marriage penalty for people currently suffering from the marriage penalty and people facing the marriage penalty going forward. All these things are provisions going forward. So if you're currently impacted by it, that's how it works. This is incredible, great news. This is the single biggest relief that we've ever seen for these people. And this is an addition to the 4 stimulus checks. Incredible, great news across the board. And with that, I'm so excited you have joined me today across the board. I have a lot more throughout the day, and I don't want you to miss any recording, so always subscribe. Grow this channel, 400,000 subscribers in 1 year and a few days, a YouTube record. Let's get to 400,000 and have a party. Also, like this video. 2,000-3,000 likes, and it really helps in the algorithm ranking. And finally, consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP. The link's at the top of the chat and in the pinned comment. It allows you to get access to the PDFs which detail the incredible relief across the board for this stimulus. And with that, it's just been a great day. I'm really excited for you. I'm excited about the president's announcement. I'm excited about this returning of the money from Department of Labor, and I'm really excited the progress that 4 stimulus has now seen. And with that, stay informed, stay focused, and stay with Ally for more.